This video doesn't contain any deck lists. If you're looking for that, go check out the other videos on my channel.
So TCG Zapdos, he does a very good job as well. Very helpful for newer and experienced players alike, so check him out.
And TCG Zapdos, great shows with episodes and great editing, and if you like the Pokemon trading card game, check out their videos.
I'm sorry opponent, yeah, I am for real. Never meant to make my opponents cry, but I think the way I beat them is too nice. I'm sorry opponent, yeah, I am for real. Never meant to make my opponents cry, but I think the way I beat them is too nice. Yeah, I feel like every time I play a card, people watching around the world to see if I'll drop my guard. But sorry to disappoint you, I'm still going hard, taking them championship points like a boss, because people expect me to go to worlds and cross paths with my subscribers, the newest and the ones from the past. I hope I'll never let you down, because I do what I can to make you smile when there's a new video popping up every now and then, like this one. I'll give it a spin, top 5 decks at the moment, so you can drop the suspense and practice day in and day out until you become better in the game and shout, I am number one, I totally won. After watching these videos for so long, I'm proud of you guys. Now say it like me, it'll be nice, come on, you see? I'm sorry opponent, yeah, I am for real. Never meant to make my opponents cry, but I think the way I beat them is too nice. I'm sorry opponent, yeah, I am for real. Never meant to make my opponents cry, but I think the way I beat them is too nice.
What's up YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and I'm back with another episode for you guys, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 92. This time around I'm gonna do something special. As you can see, the first thing I'm gonna do is actually mention that I'm not gonna review a deck here. I'm gonna mention what all the competitive decks are in the current format, because we now have a list showing what decks did really well at Cities, which is currently going on. So the thing I'm gonna do is go to the side, it's called the Charizard Lounge, and here we can see everything we need to know about of the current format and Cities. So we can just go to week number 1. We see here that Donphan, Yveltal, and Genesect Virizion is the top 3 of the decks in the first round, actually in the first week of Cities. And there are also some interesting decks here like the Seismitoad, Bronzong, Gengar, Mega Manectric Black Current, which I did a battle video on, by the way, the previous video. Here we also have Pyroar Aromatisse, Mega Manectric with Fighting. I haven't seen that playing around, but still, it's there. Then Mega Manectric with Water, probably the Plasma Current, then Fighting, Night March. Most of these decks you can just go on my channel, search the deck you want to see in the search bar, and then you'll come on an episode where you have like a deck list and everything you need to know about the current deck. This goes like for all the decks in the current format. I believe the only thing I haven't mentioned it is like Thundurus, Deoxys Current. This is like a deck based around Thundurus. It's a plasma deck, obviously, and then on the bench we have Deoxys, just like that. Also, the neat thing to mention is someone played a Zoroark Yveltal deck, which is neat. Okay, week number 2, we see that Donphan rises up. Still, it was in week 1, it was number 1. And in week 2, no surprise, Donphan is at number 1, followed up by the Yveltal, just like always, and Genesect Virizion. We see on week 2 that Pyroar did it slightly better than Seismitoad. Then Big Basics Garbodor is basically like Mewtwo, Yveltal, so just some random basics. Maybe we can also play like Reshiram, Zekrom, and stuff like that. Probably with DCEs and just going after the weakness like that. The thing we know is Gengar is dropping in the list, and Thundurus Deoxys Current is rising up, as well as Manectric with Fighting. So also Flareon is a budget deck. I haven't reviewed that yet, but Flareon is basically, you can put it into your Night March deck if you want to, because Flareon does more damage depending on how many Pokemon are in your discard pile. So with the and also a deck I haven't reviewed is Tool Drop. I actually talked about it a little bit in the Seismitroll deck, where I use like Psychic Energies. It's a battle video, go check that out, because yeah, if you haven't a clue of what Tool Drop does, then well, that maybe that video will explain it. But Tool Drop, you can also search it on YouTube, you'll find it definitely, because it's not really that competitive. As you see, it's on the bottom tier, actually on the bottom of the week 2. So now to week 3 of Cities. We see that Yveltal slightly tops Donphan. The reason for that is that people started playing Hard Charm. Hard Charm is a defending it's a tool card. If you attach it to your Pokemon, the attacking Pokemon deals 20 less damage. So in combination with the resistance, Yveltal has a better matchup against Donphan. So that was a thing to note here. If you're going to cities, fairy decks will also be quite huge in the format because fairy decks deal easily with Donphan, and Donphan is probably the best deck in the format. So a lot of decks are being played just to counter Donphan and just to have an edge, because Donphan, it wins in the prize race. The only thing that keeps Donphan down is, of course, yeah, as I mentioned, the fairy deck, because Donphan struggles with fairy. Also, Yveltal with Heart Charm is quite a decent matchup. And then we have, of course, if you play water Pokemon, maybe with Manectric, but then again, Manectric is weak to fighting, so that's why it's not high on the list. We see in week 3 that Genesect Virizion drops down a bit, Seismitoad rises up again, it's the Seismic Troll deck. Pyroar is, yeah, still viable, but still it's not really winning that much tournaments. Then Bronzong, we see the Metal deck isn't performing as I thought it would be, because Metal deck is, yeah, pretty straightforward, attaching energies out of the discard pile with the ability from Bronzong, the Metal Links. So yeah, we thought it was going to be really great, since Dialga could one-shot almost everything with a Muscle Band and yeah, dealing 170 damage like that. But still, it struggles, as you see, against other decks. Night March also, it sounded great on paper, but it didn't perform that well in tournaments. So we can conclude that there were a lot of, yeah, as you see, a lot of areas that had reports. Another thing to notice is that this is, I believe, only for America, because I don't see Europe-based stats here, but that doesn't really matter because we do play the same format, the standard format in cities. So now we're just gonna go to the overall rankings in this episode to let you know, and then I'm gonna switch to TCG Online to talk about it a little bit more in depth. So on the number 1 place, winning our 87 tournaments in total, Donphan. Yeah, that's right, Donphan. If you haven't know what Donphan does, we're gonna check out it right now. Donphan. This is also for the new subscribers out there. Wow, I can misspell Donphan. How could I? So we have a bunch of Donphans. I only actually have 6. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, we have a Donphan here. As you see, it doesn't seem that impressive at first, but it uses the spinning turn time after time, dealing damage in combination with Fighting Stadium, dealing 20 more damage to EXs, Muscle Band, or the Silver Bangle to deal more damage like that, and then the Strong Energy dealing additional 20 damage. So mostly hitting everything, so two-shotting everything with Spinning Turn, and Spinning Turn has the effect switch this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. What does this mean? Well, you can switch Donphan, actually the screen goes a bit crazy here. Okay, you can switch Donphan to Pokemon like Sigilyph. Siggy? Yeah. Why is this dollar? Okay, here we have Sigilyph. It prevents all effects of attacks, including damage done to it by EXs, so you can switch it behind that. But the main reason Donphan is really great at the moment is Robo Substitute. Robo Substitute is just like a basic Pokemon. You can play it as a 30 HP basic, but you cannot start with it, and you can discard it from play anytime you want to. So a really great card all around, because your opponent doesn't take a prize card when it gets knocked out. So you attack with Donphan time after time, spin around to the Robo Substitute Sigilyphs, and then that's basically the deck. A thing you should notice is that I already reviewed the deck in the previous episode, so I'm not gonna give like deck list because I did that before. But still, a thing to notice is that Wobbuffet did really well. I've seen a couple of Wobbuffet. I'm at the trainers at the moment. Excuse me for that. Wobbuffet. Oh, it's with a double B. Huh. Yeah, here we have Wobbuffet. This one saw a lot of play, because if you switch your Donphan to Wobbuffet, you can block the abilities from non-psychic Pokemon. What does this mean? Virizion doesn't have its ability, Genesect doesn't have the red signal ability, then also other abilities get blocked like that. If I have to think like something on the top of my head, I'd say, yeah, the biggest thing was like the Genesect Virizion that gets blocked. Another thing is that the Bronzongs are blocked with the Metal Link, so that's the most effective way to use Wobbuffet, switching them around against those matchups and you'll do just fine. Okay. On the number 2 spot, we find Yveltal EX. It has been doing great in the past with Dark Patch and Sableye and stuff, but this time around, pure Yveltal with Energy Switch and the regular baby Yveltal is still doing great as always. So the deck revolves around Oblivion Wing, actually not revolves around it, but you can use Oblivion Wing to get your Darkness energies out of the discard pile with a 130 HP basic, and then of course Yveltal EX takes all your prizes with Evil Ball, dealing a ton of damage. You can play with Muscle Band, dealing more damage, or you can play with Heart Charm. Heart Charm, as I already mentioned, prevents, or not prevents, blocks 20 damage, and with that your Yveltal stay alive turn after turn. A lot of people also in the Donphan deck were playing like Dedenne or Zekrom just to counter Yveltal, because Yveltal is so consistent and hits so hard that you have to look for actually look out for this deck because it's still going strong. Not much to be said about the Yveltal deck. There, as I said, there is sometimes Garbodor in here, other times they don't use Garbodor, they use Hydreigon, but the Hydreigon versions aren't that powerful, just play the regular one with the Garbodor in there. And then of course you can use Darkrai. Darkrai EX makes it so you have free retreat at certain times of the game, which is really neat. Okay, number 3 on cities, we find Genesect Virizion. Yeah, another great deck I reviewed already. Some people are playing with Manectric, but I think the regular one, the Genesect Virizion deck, the usual one that uses like 3 Genesects and 4 Virizions, is like the straightforward, the best way to play Genesect Virizion. The reason it's still doing that great is because people are playing 1 Deoxys EX copy in the deck. If my internet will load this card, yeah, there we have him. Deoxys is a Power Connect, lets you deal 10 more damage with your Plasma Pokemon. So Genesect deals 110 damage with its attack, and with Muscle Band you can destroy Donphan. So basically the entire tournament revolves around destroying Donphan or being your Donphan yourself. So the next deck, Seismitoad, I already played a match with it. It's Seismitroll. The reason that Seismitoad is so good is because it has the attack Quaking Punch. If you aren't familiar with Quaking Punch, well, this attack lets your opponent not play any item cards anymore. So that means if you use the attack on their next turn, they can't use any item cards, which means no Ultra Ball, no Roller Skate, no Bicycle, no Computer Search, no Dowsing Machine, what else do we have? No Muscle Bands, no Tool cards at all. So yeah, that's really powerful indeed, and it's still doing great because with Garbodor you block off the abilities, as I mentioned, and then yeah, with Muscle Band you deal 50 damage, which is decent. Now with Quaking Punch, yeah, you can also, the reason that Seismitoad is became a bit better is because we also had Enhanced Hammer in the format. And as you know, Enhanced Hammer discards a special energy card to one of your opponent's Pokemon, but if you combine that like with the Quaking Punch, they can't use that anymore, so you're still safe and you can attach another DCE to another Seismitoad on the bench and you're safe like that. And another great thing that gives Seismitoad more life is like the Head Ringer. There we go, yeah, this is a neat tool card. You sweep it onto an EX of your opponent and they have to use 1 more cardless energy to attack. Really disruptive in combination with item lock. So Seismitoad still doing great. On the number 5 spot we find Pyroar. And now you're saying like, wow, Pyroar still doing great? Yes. And the reason for that is that Pyroar has still the Intimidating main, if I can type it correctly. Alright, here we have him. Pyroar Intimidating main prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon, which means even if you have like, oh, I play a deck yeah, with a Zekrom and yeah, we have also Yveltals in there and Mewtwo's, all those Pokemon are basic, which means they can't attack, they can't touch Pyroar. So the only reason that it's doing great is that people started playing less Hypnotoxic Laser and more on the aggressive side with Muscle Bands and stuff, but still, without Hypnotoxic Laser and you only have basics, you can't even touch Pyroar. Pyroar is also really great against Genesect Virizion. It's almost an auto win for Pyroar, so look out for that if you're playing Genesect Virizion. So yeah, it's still doing great in the format. It also had a little help of his card in the Phantom Forces set with Flare Command, because once you you discard an energy attached to this Pyroar, you can just use Catcher. It's really great like that. And Pyroar is really strong with Catcher and Lysander because you want to drag up the Pokemon that can't attack you and then knock them out to get the prizes. So yeah, that was the number 5 spot. I'm not gonna review the other the list because this video would be too long, but Aromatisse, as I mentioned, is still doing great because yeah, it destroys Donphan decks, which is yeah, to be expected because they play Xerneas and Xerneas deals 140 damage with its attack. And yeah, it's almost Christmas, so I wanted to mention that. Here comes Xerneas Lane. Don't you know that? From King Nappy, he just put that in my head. Here comes Xerneas, run down Xerneas Lane. Yeah, there we go. Some random stuff in here, and then behind the Fairy deck, we also have the Bronzong, and then Mega Manectric and Gengar. So Night March is also slightly doing some stuff. So that'll be like a top 10 of the cities, and this video should be like a top 5 of the cities decks. but I already reviewed all of them on my channel. So if you want to like take a review of them, just go to my channel, check out the previous episode and watch them. Relax a bit and just get yourself a soda, relax, as I've mentioned, watch the videos and you'll learn just fine. The cities, if you're planning to go to another cities, that will be the decks I recommend in this list because they're doing so great and there's a reason for that. I'm playing Donphan at the moment, so yeah, just to you know, because I won like, not won, I became third at a regional tournament with it. I changed it up a bit and an episode where I called Donphan 2.0, and that's where I, straight from there, I went to other tournaments. I was going to go to another tournament, I believe, previous weekend, but I couldn't go to certain circumstances. And yes, that's why I'm here, and I'll be going to the European Challenge Cup, so expect me there because the format will still be the same. Those will be the top decks, so expect them. Alright, that's it for another episode, you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, there isn't any Poke News available this time around because I reviewed everything. I'm on schedule so far, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, definitely click that like button because you know I always appreciate it, and it gives me the support I need to make more videos for you guys. And if you like, you can subscribe by clicking the button there. Yeah, that way you can help me out and stay updated automatically when there's a new video. Easy like that. Okay, that's it. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Thanks again for watching. Peace.